Everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our meeting tonight, and I first would like to call the meeting to order and go with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Everybody, I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America
and
to the republic
for which
it stands,
under
one
nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to say we all make a good attempt at that. All right. First, we're going to do a construction project update. So, Kevin, you're on. There you go.
Evening, everyone.
Hi, Kevin.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Fine.
perfect. I'm going to minimize that. All right, so just a typical board update from last month to this month, some of the construction activities that have taken place. So over at Shaker Middle School, over the auditorium, you can see the aisle lighting, as well as the lighting that identifies where the chairs can be placed on the floor. They were installed by the electrical prime contractor. Sorry, I don't have any other pretty photos of the auditorium this month. I know that was a nice little spotlight for the last couple months, but this month's a little darker with regard to the photos.
Kevin, what is that floor made from?
This floor?
What is the material of those floors?
That's all carpet tile.
Oh, okay.
Over existing concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the stair treads themselves have that vinyl base that climb the risers.
Mm-hmm. Looks great.
Yep. Sure does.
Yeah, no, it definitely came out really well.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the rest of the building. So it was presented a few months back to approve the change order for burnishing the D-Wing edition terrazzo to really bring it up to a higher polish and higher sheen. So you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, that was what the final product looked like when we pulled the plywood up, all the protection that was down during the course of construction. And then the finish that you see on the other two photos was completed over February break. So they went back through, they had to strip it down again, and then they were able to polish and seal to really bring up that glass sheen that you see there. It really looks
much better.
Yeah. It's night and day from what it was.
Yep.
They did a really good job on that. And they were buttoning up some final areas this week. So at the end of the week, well, we should have everything done. But we've had our design partners as well as Brian and his staff out to inspect, and everyone seems very pleased with it. So, any questions regarding the terrazzo?
No, looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just another part of an existing change order that we had that we really just needed an extended period of time where we weren't interrupting day-to-day activities. They couldn't necessarily do the terrazzo, the epoxy terrazzo infills at these locations. So on the left-hand side of the screen, that was where an existing door frame was removed. And it left an unfinished look to the existing terrazzo. So what the contractor did was they went in, they cut in and filled with epoxy, and you can hardly tell the difference between what was existing and what was just recently done. They did a really nice job of blending it in. So that's the new main hallway when you come into the middle school through the secure vestibule. There's a couple other areas that work was completed similar to this throughout the building. It's just again, where doors were removed. So all of that work is substantially complete. We were able to actually take advantage of the February break and completed some owner trainings that were required per specification regarding the auditorium sound system, as well as the theatrical lighting system and commissioning of that system, the auditorium projector as well, the cafeteria lighting, the intrusion system, as well as the new fire alarm system. Shifting gears over to Shaker High School, construction has continued on the second floor of Area E. You can see that the walls were demolished over this actually just over the last couple of weeks. We were able to get back up there and really start ramping up the manpower. It was actually quite impressive to me to see the space as it was, a week and a half ago, and then the fact that the contractors were able to get in there during the day and work a normal shift. You can actually see that they got walls up. They started framing, in-wall inspections. You have hollow metal frames that are going in as well. So it's really starting to pick up there. But all that work's going to continue second shift right now. We actually have contractors on site as I'm speaking. So they're going to look to take every advantage, of every break or, even weekends and holidays just to continue to progress this as quickly as possible to, get ahead of this for the summer crunch. So the fire alarm and security upgrades continue throughout the building. You can see on the left-hand side, that's actually on the north side of the second floor of E-Wing. That's where the new fire alarm control panel, the head end panel is. They're actually able to get those in there. Actually, the last time I was in there, you can see the red wires hanging up. They actually have wires pulled into the cabinet. So the fire alarm is progressing really nicely over at the high school. They've been able to staff the project sufficiently in order to get to about an 85-90% completion right now. So we're really trying to button that up. The new fire alarm system as well as the security will be coming online for next year. So the new system will stay in place until the old one comes off and everything's been worked out, all the commissioning of the systems. Moving along to Latham Ridge. So at the last board, I provided an update indicating that we were going to continue to start, or we were going to start continuing the construction second shift in the addition at Latham Ridge. And then over February break, we were actually able to install some roof rails for equipment in existing spaces as well, just to really, like I said, try and plan as far out as we can to really start to pull that schedule back in, and give these contractors the opportunity to take advantage of work during this during the winter right now. So we have temporary heaters going in the addition. They're taping, spackling. You got mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough-in ongoing. It's really starting to come together over there. And then over at Forts Ferry, we've been kicking around ideas to try to advance the work in the cafe addition. However, we haven't really been able to come up with a concrete plan yet. That's still being ironed out. But just recently, we were able to complete some abatement work of an existing column that had asbestos-containing material that was wrapped around it. So that is now out of the way and done. All the clean airs came back. So moving forward, there won't be an issue when it comes to tie that in. And that's all I have for this month. Are there any questions?
Does the board have any questions for Kevin?
No.
Well, Kevin, we find your reports very interesting, and they're very important for us. But everything's going very well.
Thank you. Appreciate
So
it. Thank you for having me
very,
again.
very happy about it and very excited about everything that's been done. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. All right, we'll move to personnel actions now. I'd like a motion to approve them. And I'm looking around for hands. I've got a lot of people. Okay, Mr. Cannon.
I move to approve personnel actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
Thank you. In a second, Mrs. Pangburn. Any questions or comments tonight? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve recommendations regarding the placement and classification of students. Mrs. Grinnell.
I move approval of recommendations regarding placement classification of students as reviewed by the District Committee on Preschool Special Education for the 2020-2021 school year, and recommendations regarding placement classification of students as reviewed by the District Committee on Special Education for the 2020-2021 school year, as recommended by the Director of Pupil Services.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the health service rates for non-resident students. Mrs. Pangburn.
I move to approve the 2020-2021 health services rates for non-resident students as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. In a second, Mrs. D'Orazio. Any questions or comments? Mr. Johnson.
Just a quick question for my own edification here. This is the rate increase is recommended by the state education department, but then we have to set this based on our own expenses. Is that how that works?
Scott, do you want to address that?
Yes, it is. Each district does its own calculation based on the personnel associated with health services, and you will find that there is a decent variation amongst the districts depending on the personnel they have associated.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to authorize the board president and the superintendent to sign health service contracts. Mrs. Nardolillo.
I move to approve the board to authorize the board president and the superintendent to sign the health service contracts for non-resident students attending school in our district as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. In a second, Mr. Vondell. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the estimated non-resident tuition rates. Okay, Ms. Grinnell.
I move to approve the estimated non-resident tuition rates for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Mrs. Pangburn. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve a resolution to accept a donation. Mr. Chavo.
I move to approve the resolution to accept a donation as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve a contract with the Wine and Skill Union Free School District. Mrs. Pangburn.
Move to approve the contract with Wine and Skill Union Free School District for North Colony residents attending private parochial schools in their district for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. In a second, Mr. Chavo. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you.
Mrs. Harrison, can we go back?
Oh, sure.
This was a grant that Blue Creek applied for to the New York State Association of Health, Physical Education, and Dance. And those snowshoes came in, you can check the website. There is a story on that. And those students enjoyed, this is a good winter to enjoy snowshoeing, and they enjoyed that. In addition to that, due to the construction, we have gained an even bigger and better hill in the back of Blue Creek. And so we have added some great sleigh riding to our physical education program there. So I think, the next step would be to get a grant to build a bobsled or luge run back there. But it's been wonderful to see the kids enjoying winter activities. It's been a great winter for that.
Yeah, good outdoor activities. All right, thank you. And now I'd like a motion to approve a resolution to authorize the district to repair the high school, J-wing in the high school. Ms. Grinnell,
I move to approve the resolution to authorize the district to undertake the remediation and repair of the high school J-wing as a result of a fire which occurred in August 2020, as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
thank you. In a second, Mr. Rondell, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve some change orders. Is Mr. Johnson in the, yep, Mr. Johnson?
I move to approve the following change orders. 4 change orders, COR 016 through 019, totaling $11,671 to the Bast Hatfield Construction LLC contract. 2 change orders, COR 038 and 039, totaling $56,600 to the Bet and Kring LLC contract. 3 change orders, COR 014 and through 016, totaling $13,092 to Hewitt Young Electric LLC contract. 1 change order, COR 022, in the amount of $1,777 to the T. Lemmy Mechanical Incorporated contract, and 1 change order, COR 082, in the amount of $10,048 to the Peter Luizzi and Brothers Contracting Incorporated contract, as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you very much. And a second to those change order motion, Mrs. Durazio. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the establishment of a scholarship. Mrs. Pangburn,
I move to approve the establishment of the Frank Gilboy Scholarship as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools.
thank you. And a second, Mr. Chavo. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. It's always great to see new scholarships coming to our students. I'd like a motion to approve an agreement between the district and the town of Colony. Mr. Chavo,
I move to approve the sub-recipient agreement between North Colony Central School District and the town of Colony to facilitate the receipt of block grant funds to be used for instructional technology needs for students during the pandemic, as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
thank you. And a second, Ms. Grinnell, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. We'll go to committee reports. And in terms of Mrs. Pangburn and Mrs. Nardolillo, our co-chairs of audit, do either of you have anything to say about audit activities?
We do have an audit meeting scheduled for March 4th. So coming up, I think that's next Thursday. And I believe our area of discussion might be on any areas of focus that we'd like the next audit to include. So if anyone has anything they, in an area they'd like us to consider, if you can let Sandy or I know, or Linda, we could actually discuss it at that meeting.
All right, thank you. And how about budget? It's Mrs. Nardolillo and Mr. Vondell. Do either of you have anything you'd like to say about the budget committee?
Well, we do have a meeting coming up on March 1st, which is next Monday. That will be our first budget meeting. And we will meet every Monday up until Well, we'll meet the first 3 Mondays in March, and March 24th, which I believe is a Wednesday, if needed. And then we have a couple of other dates scheduled, but we'll remind you of those dates at our next monthly meeting.
All right, thank you. We all look forward to budget
And
season.
they are on the agenda, tonight's agenda. So if
Mhm.
you want to plan ahead and jot them down in your calendar, we would appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much. I don't think there are any other committee reports tonight, so we'll go to administrative reports. Mr. Core?
Yes, so we have our enrollment report for the period ending January 29th, 2021. At our elementary level, we are up 16 students. From September, we have 3,034 students. We are up 7 students at the junior high level to 884 students, and we are up 14 students at the high school to 2021. That makes our district total at 5,939. We are up a total of 37 students from September. Board might also note too that the number of students moving to remote has increased substantially. That was as a result of the surge. We offered students the opportunity in two-week increments and parents to move their students to remote in that time. So for that period, we had a total in-person attendance of 3,446, a remote attendance of 2,493. The in-person percentage is 58% of our school population. The remote was 42%, and that's a shift of about 1,000 students in either direction. So we would like to note that, we've had an increase in people returning to school as of February 1, and we will continue to look at that and monitor it and adjust as we go forward.
All right, thank you. And how about some recognitions, Mr. Core?
Yes. So, my first recognition, I'd like to recognize our students for the Scholastic Art Awards. We have a wonderful, a great number of students. I won't read everyone's name individually, but their work is listed on our website, and people can go and visit that work. It is incredible work, and I thank Ms. Manzella, her department, our students, and our families for their wonderful contributions to the life at Shaker High School. We also have, pleased to announce that we have students who have been recognized for the Scholarships for Academic Excellence Award. These are 12 Shaker High School students. These grants or scholarship grants range from $500 to $1,500 annually. These students are outstanding, and their names are listed, and they will be recognized. We are Rohan Bakchi, Tanya Pai, Virag Cornice, Sydney Volato, Sharia Bhavadagar, Shanghang Wang, Labika Baral, Mary Kay McGurk, Gianna Aquino, Chloe Operman, Tiffany Tang, and Andrew Lenart. And also, we would like to recognize students at Shaker High School. We have 4 students who have been recognized for the National Association for Music Education at the All Eastern Music Festival. They would be Sophie Dvorak, Scout Santoro, Istan Slamet, Haley Witzlick. They are grade 12 students, and they are all Eastern students who have been recognized for their achievement in music. The next recognition is very special, I think. And, as you know, on the Monday before the break, we had to announce that we had to go to remote. And this was due to a lack of staffing in transportation. And I think it should be noted that, it really wasn't due to any fault. It was a conglomeration of circumstances, quarantine, illness, other unforeseen circumstances that came together at the wrong time to deplete our transportation department. So we had to go to remote for one day, and that was a particularly tough day for us all. We, thought we had gone a bit in the clear so that we could avoid those days, and we came up and we were snagged by this one. So we spent a good part of the day, well into the evening on Monday, trying to figure this out. And we really couldn't pull it together for the next day on Tuesday. But on Tuesday, I went to my colleagues throughout the region and asked if they could support us, and they were all experiencing the same problem, and that is that transportation directors, administrative staff, mechanics were driving in their departments. They could not spare anybody, but our friends up at Shenendehowa looked deep and researched this, and they were able to loan us 3 drivers to help us transport our kids for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that contribution made the difference between our students being in school those days and not being in school. So for the drivers, I'd like to thank Brian Evans, Jacob Krasinski, and David Sarnowski. They worked routes 144, 151, and 153. They were great contributions for the 3 days they worked here to our staff. They were pleasant to work with. They did their jobs extremely well. I'd also like to thank Mr. Al Karam, who is the Director of Transportation up at Shenendehowa. He worked hard to work out the logistics of this, along with Belinda Govich, who is the dispatcher and routing specialist up in Shenendehowa. And those 2 folks worked on the logistics to make it happen. And I'd also like to thank my friend and colleague, Dr. Oliver Robinson, who is the superintendent. Dr. Robinson is a person I called directly, and I said, could you, do you think you can spare some drivers? And, without a moment's hesitation, he said that he would look into it. And within, literally a matter of minutes, his transportation director was on that, and it made possible, again, the fact for our students to attend school for those 3 days. So with Shenendehowa, we may be rivals on the athletic field and the like, but we, as communities, I think, have come together in good times and in not so great times. But I do really believe that we have a great partnership and friendship there with our neighbor to the north of the Mohawk. So again,
It's good to see neighbors helping neighbors,
Yeah, exactly.
and I hope
absolutely.
someday we can reciprocate.
Mhm.
And I would hope we would have that opportunity. I would love to reciprocate.
These are the times that require our helping one another. And so that's great. Yep. As Mrs. Nardillo said, hopefully we can help them one day. All right. Anything else, Mr. Core? Are you finished?
I am.
Okay. Well, we'll move to business office reports, and I'd like a motion to approve the treasurer's report and the extra classroom activity fund report. Mrs. Nardillo?
I move to approve the treasurer's report for December 2020 and the extra classroom activity fund report for January 2021 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Ms. Grinnell. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve bills and payroll. Mr. Chabot?
I move to approve bills and payroll December 2020 and January 2021 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the investment report. Let me see, Mrs. Pangburn.
You did, Sandy. Sorry about that. I thought I hit the unmute button. I move to approve the investment report December 2020 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. In a second, Mrs. Nardolillo, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the monthly financial statements. Ms. Grinnell?
You're muted.
Ms. Grinnell, you're met.
So sorry. I move to approve the monthly financial statements December 2020 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. D'Orazio, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the BOCES bill adjustments. Mr. Johnson? You're muted.
We're all having that trouble now.
It's not our night. I move to approve BOCES bill adjustments January 2021 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. Vondell, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. Before I take a motion for the regular meeting minutes, just want to mention that the tally for the absentee votes regarding each motion is going to be changed from 0 to 3. So that's what your motion will include. So I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on January 25th. Mrs. Pangburn?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 25, 2021 as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. And a second, Mr. Cannon, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, opposed, abstention. Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from February 8th. Mr. D'Orazio?
I move to approve the minutes of the special meeting of February 8th, 2021, as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. And a second, Ms. Grinnell, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you.
Could we go back? I'm sorry,
Sure.
Mrs. Harrison. Could we go back to the 25th?
Mrs. D'Orazio, yes.
Yes. Mr. Vondell raised his hand as an abstention. Did I see that correctly? Oh, because on our.
I did because I wasn't there for the votes. I got technical difficulties. I got kicked off of Zoom near the end of Matt Stein's speech. That's why.
Yeah.
And I also, Jane, just for the record, I was not there. I should have abstained. It was my daughter's birthday. Sorry.
Okay, because Ron's not under absent. He's under left at 7:45.
Well, that is true. Rather abruptly.
I know, but you were there. You were there for a half an hour of it, so I don't know if that constitutes absent. All right. Anyway, just wanted clarification on that.
All right. Is everybody okay with that?
All right.
I think we've already voted on that. We just went back to it. So
yes.
Yeah, we're all good.
Oh, we're all set, aren't we?
It's fine.
Okay. So I'll take a motion.
You know what? I want to just say thank you because you do a great job on these meetings. As far as keeping track of everything and where everybody is, and whether we're raising our hands. So thank you.
Okay, so sometimes it's hard to find people. All right, I'd like a motion to adjourn. I'll take that in a minute. And Mrs. Pangburn, our adjourner.
To adjourn.
Okay, and I'll take a second. Mr. Chavo, and how about all in favor? All right, thank you very much. Thank you for an excellent evening. Thank you for all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to all those who were here with us tonight, and please come back. All right, we're out of here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
evening.
Good night. Stay well.